So I'm about to eat an orange, and as I'm peeling it, a little drop of orange juice falls on the ground, right? Is what it is, no big deal. So since I'm downstairs in my room, I walk over and grab a little thing of toilet paper, put some water on it, and I go down to wipe it up, right? Then I stand up and look to see if I had wiped it, and with the glare of the sun coming in, there was a drop right next to the thing that I just wiped. I just did a second area instead of the one that had the drop. So I go back down, I get it the second time, and stand back up, make sure that I got it, and we're good to go, right? So it's no big deal, but it reminded me of a profound truth that when you're too close to the problem, you don't know if you've fixed it yet. You have to stand back and see what needs to be done, go try it, and if it doesn't work out when you step back, you need to figure out why it didn't work, and then try it again, right? If you're too close to the problem, you can't see why it hasn't worked yet. So you gotta remove yourself from the problem, take yourself back so you can look at it from up here and reorient, right? This is why people say that they're too busy working in the business to be able to work on the business. And so what does that mean? Well, let me take the example of my woodworking, right? I am a single owner and operator of the woodworking company with no employees. So it's just me, and I don't do any advertisement, it's just word of mouth. And when customers come in, I build tables by myself, and then I am the one who drops them off. And then that takes me away from doing the things I actually want to do, social media and all those types of things. And so then, but I have to do them because I need a way to make money, right? Okay, now, if I want to work on the business, what that would entail is that I have an employee who builds the tables for me, but then I have to go out there and be the one winning new clientele until I have enough business coming in where I have one or maybe two employees building enough tables to pay someone to then do sales for me, right? So if I want to work on the business and start building a structure on how things work, well, first I have to come up with standard operating procedures for the typical tables that I build. So you do X, Y, and Z, and then the table is built, and then you deliver it like this, you attach the base like this, and then on my end, I do the accounting like this, I send emails like this, whatever it is, right? Then once I have those standard operating procedures, I can get an employee and then test it out and see, is this gonna work, right? Now, it might not work for several reasons. I gotta try it out, be in the game, and then stand back, work on the business to see what's working and what's not, right? Then I work in the business because I have to, go do sales or whatever it is, and then step back and say, is this system good? It's a constant situation of going back and forth until eventually I'm bringing in enough business to be able to continue paying my employees to build the tables while also paying someone else to bring in more business. And then there's enough profit up top that I can actually take a salary just by owning this system that I've set up in place. And that's the nice part about a business is that I think you're providing value in three ways: value to the customer, value to the investors, and also value to the employees, right? So customer, investors, and then the employees. Oh, that's cool. It spells out ice. Anyways, so then yeah, I'm definitely going to use that. You'll see in the future why that's significant. But anyways, let's see here. Oh, okay. So then you make a structure for your employees to be able to work somewhere. They can go there every single day, and the system is set up so that they can do their one thing and make money, even though they're not doing all the other necessary steps, right? That's the value of a business, because if you're a single owner and operator like me, it's very difficult to be able to do all these things. You can't just clock in, clock out, and get a paycheck, right? You have to schedule your day around going out and doing these things while also trying to run the business and sending emails, staying on top of everything, tracking everything. There's just a lot of things that you have to shift your mind from, all these different areas. And that's the value of working for a company instead of owning your own company, right? Because you could work at a company, learn what they do in about 6 months if you're pretty observant, and then leave and start your own. But when you start your own, you're winning new clients, so you don't have the time in the game that this other company has. You don't have the reputation, you don't have the standard operating procedures, the structure, you don't have the capital, all the different things. That's the value that you get when you are working for a company. And so then that's why when there has to be a balance, right? You shouldn't just write $1 million checks for someone who does no work, quote unquote, at the top, right? But at the same time, they've provided a structure that provides value to several types of people. They bring money back to the investors, if that's their public company or if they have stocks investors of some sort. But for most people, they're just providing value to the customer and to the employees, right? So then they should just, I don't know, that's a whole another argument of whether or not they deserve it or not. I think that people do. I think that they should use that extra money for innovation instead of consumption. And that's where there's a problem, is that most people who are at the top of organizations use their money to buy, expensive things like yachts instead of spending it on a cure for cancer or anything like that. If the money is available to someone to be able to do something wildly innovative and productive, that is a necessity, a responsibility that they have that to act on that thing, right? In order to move the world forward. Regardless, there's a whole nother video. Back to the point of this orange peel, right? So when the thing dropped, and immediately that came to mind when all this happened, it was nice because it reminded me that there's profound truth everywhere if you just know what you're looking for and where to look, right? And you can look, this is the crazy part, you can look in your day-to-day life in every single moment when you're moving through life. Everything can be a source of information, of wisdom, if you know what to be looking for, right? So I saw that, and that immediately popped in my head because I've been thinking about these things for a good 2 years now. And so now my mind is kind of trained to pick up on these. And so then everywhere that I go, I'm constantly extracting value. It's almost like I'm breathing in wisdom. And that's huge. When you're able to do that, you can walk through life with the confidence that even if you don't know what you're doing, you'll learn how to do it along the way, because you can pick up and be resourceful on the things that are happening that make the thing happen that you want to happen. So then, yeah, I think that's it, is start looking for wisdom in your day-to-day life, and if don't complain that you don't have an interesting enough life to be able to extract wisdom, because if you're in that position where, let's say, oh, my life's just so boring, you need to get out of that situation, right? You need to start being more interesting in some way. B, if your life is so boring and you figure out why it is and how to move out of it, and then you actually do that, then this is the perfect information for 90% of the people out there. You're doing something that's super valuable because there's so many people that are just like you. If you're boring, there's a lot of people like you, and there's a lot of people who are boring who want to move out of that. They want to be an interesting person. So if you document that whole journey, if you figure out the things that actually make you interesting, learning how to have conversations with people, being interested in other people, going out and doing things on your own, not being afraid of rejection, all the different things that make up the ability to be interesting. If you kind of start tracking that and figuring out what are these things, extracting that from your daily experiences, why was I able to do this situation, and why is it more interesting than the things I've done in the past, whatever it is, this is the perfect platform for you to share this information with people who were just like you in the past, and this is kind of my story, is that I feel like at a certain point in time, I was just a bland person. I was just nothing going on. And hopefully with these videos, I can kind of open perspectives on how I changed from being not interesting to hopefully interesting. It's up to other people to say whether or not I'm interesting. For me, I'll do any of this, the things I do on a daily basis or a weekly basis, strictly because I enjoy doing them now and not to be interesting. I just enjoy the process. I just enjoy challenging myself and living an interesting life in my mind, what I think is interesting. So I'll continue to do that. But regardless, it all comes back to this. Look for everything in your day-to-day life, experiences, wisdom, value that you can provide other people in circumstances that you used to be in, and then try to learn from your situation all the time, constantly. You're breathing in wisdom. And if you're in that position, then it's just another source of confidence that you'll be able to do whatever you want to do in this life. When you have that vision, and then you actually move towards it in some way, and then you know that you have the skill to be able to actually, along the way, learn and get better and extract wisdom without having someone holding your hand, then you have the confidence to actually make this vision a reality. And then when you have that confidence that, yes, this will actually happen, you have the conviction that the dream will happen. So now you can actually take the steps that are necessary to move towards it, right? Because not only do you have the confidence that you'll be able to figure it out along the way how to get there, but you know that you'll be able to get there, and that you have a vision. That's the third ingredient, or however many ingredients there are, altogether, this is a lethal combination to be a force for good in the world. So get out there and try to start extracting wisdom from your day-to-day life so that you can be better at moving on this path. And then you have the confidence to keep moving, the conviction that you'll actually achieve it, and ultimately the ability and the willingness to act on this vision that you have for your life. And when you do all those things, go back and write them down, try to figure out how you can find that in your own life. Then you actually start moving forward and you have that confidence, that good, healthy feeling in you every single day. And that's pure living. That's life, you know? That's better than living on a beach somewhere in Malibu with tons of money, is being in your home, in your day-to-day life, in your community, doing the things that encourage other people, doing the things that inspire those that you've never met, coming up with stories and moving through life with a passion and a vigor to just do great things, right? I think vigor is the word. VIGOR, whatever it is. I'll look it up and get better at vocabulary, because that's another way to be an interesting person. And then you can do whatever it takes to be more interesting today, starting with extracting wisdom from your experiences, like the orange peel. Why not us? That was a storm, by the way. That was like so many different things. I'm sorry if that was a little bit confusing. Why not us?